Okay, just gonna go over the trade I took today. We did finally have a winner, a winning trade, which was nice. Not that I've been losing too much. It's just mainly been break even and really shitty price action that I've just been avoiding. Today, honestly, it was no different. We had really poor price action. I just managed to catch something today. I was willing to put on some risk, and luckily enough, I did not get caught in shop. My model was here, but again, price action was pretty shitty. And I made sure to only aim for some relatively low hanging fruit, being the Asia session high and not previous daily high. So, which obviously we did not get. Um, Anyways, let's start on the daily here. You can see we had a great bounce off that daily for Valley Gap, and so we're bullish until further notice. Obviously, we reacted positively off of this 4 hour gap as well. Nice sweep of some lows here. Um, Asian session high was also a set of equal highs here, which is another reason why I liked this trade. But again, we are disrespecting 4 hour bearish fair value gaps, respecting bullish ones. We're bullish. If you go to the 1 hour, it's a bit more choppy, but at the end of the day, at the end of the day, like we're still bullish. So um, mainly based off of what I saw in the 4 hour, and then of course, like you know, you can make your argument that we're inside this 1 hour fair value gap, and but it's a very tiny fair value gap. We're using the 4 hour fair value gap, which is nice. And then the 15 minute, you see we swept London session low, so we swept some liquidity. Like this was relatively low resistance liquidity here, in my opinion. And you could see London high and Asian high are relative equal highs, and then we also have this high here that's a relative equal high. So there's plenty of liquidity to come for above, which I liked. So the target was really great. I knew my target, which was good. Um, I if you see this 15 minute fair value gap, I took two trades. The first one was break even. The second one was a win. I did not concern myself with this 15 minute fair value gap on the second entry. However, the first entry I did, because the first entry it was unfilled. Second entry we had filled it. So at that point I didn't care as much about it. I didn't care as much, and I didn't think we were going to react negatively from it as bad as we did the first time. So anyways, we have our sweep. 4 hour fair value gap is our higher time frame PD array. We have our drawn liquidity that we'd like to see that makes sense. So everything's starting to come together for the trade, right? Now, the first trade I based off the 4 minute time frame. You see we have this small gap on the 4 minute that got inverted. And I entered with a market order when this candle closed. Let me just see the 1 minute. I want to be accurate as I can with this. Yeah, I mean, it's essentially here. Like, it was a 1-to-1, so with the Asian highs. So, like, right there, whatever. And that was the first trade. And as you can see, we kind of chopped around a bit. Let me just check where I exited on Top Step here. Yeah, so I just exited break even at this candle here. Like what I had. Oh no. Okay, now I remember. Now I remember. I broke even here. So this was a pretty quick. It was. This was very. I was very quick to break even with this trade, but the reason being was because we had this 15 minute fair value gap that was unfilled, and so I liked the buy here, but I did not want to see us reject from this 15 minute. If we were going to go higher, I wanted to see us push past it and quickly. and we just didn't get that. So I was willing to trail my stop pretty early here on this first trade, so I did. I brought it to break even once we came up and tapped this high, which was also the 15-minute fair value gap getting filled. Because I thought if we were going to reject and this was to stop me out, it would be because we tapped into the 15-minute and went lower. So I said, fuck it. If we tap into the 15-minute, that's my break even. So there you go. It also happened to be an internal high, which is somewhere I'd break even anyway. However, yes, it was very close to my entry, especially because this was a market entry and not a limit order. Had this been a limit order, it would have been a little bit further from entry, obviously. We also wouldn't have got tagged in for that break even anyways. This trade would have been invalid because we would have already tapped the my break even point before the limit got triggered. Market order was valid, so I entered. But yeah, that was the first trade. Let's get rid of that. Second trade, same idea. I didn't have my break even at the 15-minute anymore because that we had already filled it, so it wasn't that amazing of a spot anymore where I thought we could reject from. So I had it here instead, right? Just this internal high, and you can see again this was a market order. I was a little late in entering this one. I just saw it a little late, and yeah, so market order, this is the 5-minute getting inverted. We obviously could have gotten a limit order, but I, again, was just late to the party here. So we entered for a market order. And yeah, you could see how nicely we came up to my liquidity pool here, Asia highs, and then dropped from there, right? So obviously we were right with the target. And I had broke even once we came here, so had I not TP'd here, it would have been a break even trade. And yeah, that was the setup, that was the model playing out today. Again, not the greatest day of price action. I'm happy to have caught a win. I had to be really patient for this one just because of, again, how poor price action has been. Like last week, there was genuinely one good opportunity, and it was on No News Monday. And it didn't pique my interest enough to want to take it, even though, yes, it followed my model. It wasn't the greatest trade, but it did play out. And that was literally the one trade all last week. Hopefully this week can provide us with a little bit better price action. Obviously today wasn't that great of a indication that that's going to happen. We're kind of following the same pattern we did all last week, which was just dog shit price action. I was lucky to catch this. Friday's NFP, so as we get closer to NFP, it should be interesting though, because supposedly if the government has a shutdown, they're not even going to release the NFP numbers. So I don't even know what the hell that's going to do for the stock market. And normally we would react. It would be a heavy news day. If there's no news, then I don't know. So that should be interesting if we do have a government shutdown. But yeah, this was the trade. Let me just show the execution on Top Step. So this was the first entry again. I don't have access to the 4-minute on Top Step for some reason. They don't give the 4-minute time frame. But yes, this was entry exit of the first one. Again, you could see that was the candle that broke even. And then re-entered on this candle once we inverted this 5-minute. Again, very shitty, choppy price action around here. Maybe should have de-risked. I risked a full 0.5% here. Obviously, in hindsight, I'm happy to have done it because it was a winning trade, but this probably should have been I probably should have de-risked on this trade like I have been all last week because of shitty price action. And we were very choppy, so I probably should have done that again. I didn't. Ended up being a win, so I'm happy that I didn't. But obviously, looking back, I probably should have. But yeah, this was the trade. and got the account up to 820 now on the Express account, and all the combines are being led by the Express account here. So that was the trading day.